Hello everyone, welcome back to our beginner yoga alignment series. We're going to be doing a standing sequence today, so let's get started with our warm-up. Come to a seated position on your mat and get comfortable with your hips propped up. So your hips are higher than your knees. You can sit on a bolster or a few blankets. Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths. Gently open your eyes, and we'll start by taking a few shoulder rolls to the back and a few shoulder rolls to the front. Interlace your fingers and pull your arms forward. Open up the space between your shoulder blades. Drop your chin to your chest and breathe. Slowly lift your head up. Press your palms away from you and lift the hands up. Avoid bringing your shoulders high. Let them drop away from your ears. Bend your elbows. Switch the interlace of the fingers. Press the palms away from you and again lift up. Hold on to your left wrist with your right hand and lean over to the right side for a side stretch. Pull your left shoulder back, look up underneath your arm if you can, or look forward if that's easier for your neck. Slowly come back to center, switch the hands, exhale, lean over to the left. Pull the right shoulder back, look up gently, or keep your head forward. Come back to center, release the arms, open out into a cactus position, and we'll take the right elbow over the left into our eagle arms. So I'm interlacing the arms here, but you also have the option of giving yourself a hug. So if that feels better for you, take this modification, one elbow above the other. Slowly release, and let's go to the other side. Left elbow over the right, interlace your arms. As you inhale, lift the elbows up. As you exhale, drop your shoulders down the back. Remember, you have the option to give yourself a hug or keep your arms interlaced. Either one is fine. Release the arms down. We're coming into a seated twist here. Take your left hand onto your right leg. Right arm goes behind you. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, twist to the right. The right hand can either be on your blankets or on your mat or on your bolster, using it to pull your spine up tall. Slowly release. Let's go to the other side. Right hand on the left leg. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, twist with your left arm behind you. Avoid straining the neck. So you'll see here that if I turn my head over to the right, that does not feel good for me. I recommend keeping your chin in the same direction as your chest. Slowly release. We're going to switch the legs here just for the twist. And it's easy to get confused. So if you sit down and it feels comfortable, switch the feet. When it feels uncomfortable, like the side that you usually don't do, that's when you've got it. Inhale, lift up, exhale, twist to the right. Take a couple of breaths here. Release, switch hands, inhale, lift up, and exhale, twist to the left. Release, come back to center, and place your hands in front of your heart. Bow your head and thank your heart. Lift your head and open your eyes. Let's come into a tabletop position onto the mat. So you won't need your bolster. Take your hands under your shoulders and take your knees under your hips. Everything's squared off. Keep your fingers wide and flat against the mat. We'll start with some cat-cows. Inhale, drop the belly, look up. Exhale, pull the belly up and look down. The movement is initiated from your tailbone. Inhale, drop the belly and chest, look up. Exhale, pull the belly up, round the spine, and look down. One more time. Watch your shoulders in cow pose. Keep them away from your ears and keep your neck long. And come to a flat back, navel to the spine. Extend your left leg behind you, right arm forward, so opposite arm and leg are lifting. When you find your balance, lift the left leg up. Keep looking down at your left hand to keep the back of the neck nice and long. And if your hip is lifting up, square it down so your left toes are pointing straight down to the floor. Slowly release. Let's go to the other side. If this is bothering your knees, you can also take a blanket onto your mat or double up 2 mats. Right leg back, left arm forward. Keep looking down at your right hand, navel to the spine. Slowly release. Take your knees apart, take your toes together, drop your hips back, and we'll come into child's pose. Rest your forehead on the mat. Here's a variation of child's pose with a bolster in between your hips and your ankles that might feel better for some of you. If the bolster's there, take it out of the way, come back into a tabletop position, tuck your toes, and walk your feet forward towards your hands. Keep your feet wide, toes facing forward. Bend your knees, really bend into your knees, let your legs support you, cross your arms, and relax your head down. We're in Uttanasana, forward fold. You can shake your head no, or nod your head yes. Release any tension in the neck. Slowly release your arms, keeping your knees bent, roll up one vertebrae at a time. Head comes up last. Take it really slow here. Keep in mind that from this point on, I will be your mirror. Come into Tadasana at the top of your mat. Lift the knees up. Take the navel to the spine, shoulders back and down, palms forward. Inhale, lift the hands up and bring the right knee high. Flex your right toes close to your shin, as if you're stepping on a block in front of you. You can always use the wall for support. I highly recommend staying close to a wall for any balancing poses. Step the right foot back and come into Parsvottanasana. So the left knee is slightly bent. I'm checking my feet here, making sure I have a stable foundation. The right toes are out by about 20 degrees. Pull your right hip forward, left hip back. Spine stays long. Pull the shoulders back behind you as if the elbows want to touch. Keep your legs strong. Slowly lift up, shoulders back. Bend your left knee. Come into Warrior One. So the knee is directly above the ankle, and we're pulling the right hip forward, left hip back. Take the hands to the hips, straighten the leg, and pivot the toes to the long edge of your mat. Walk the feet out pretty wide so the ankles are underneath your wrists. Toes are slightly in, heels are slightly out. Roll the shoulders back and down and hinge forward from your hips into your wide-legged forward fold. Prasarita, padottanasana. Keep your knees micro bent and lift the kneecaps up so the legs are strong and stable. Slowly lift yourself up, long spine. Turn your right toes out 90 degrees. And I'm going to check my heel and ankle alignment here. So my right heel is in line with my left arch of my foot or my left heel. Whatever feels better for you is fine. Keep your body facing forward and look over your right fingertips. Relax your shoulders down away from your ears. Let's come into side angle pose. Elbow to the thigh. Open up the left shoulder to the back. Look up if that's comfortable for your neck. If not, look forward. If your shoulder doesn't feel good here, you can also take your hand to your hip And keep grounding down through your left foot. Let's come back up slowly, straighten the front leg. If you're using a support like a chair or a block, make sure it's on the outside of your right foot. Reach forward, keep the micro bend in your right knee, and come down to your support. You can also hold on to your shin if that's comfortable for you. Remember, you always have the option of taking the upper arm to the hip and looking down at the block. From here, we're going to transition into our revolved triangle. So the back foot faces mostly forward. Adjust your stance as you need it, and you can take the feet wider apart for more stability. The block is on the inside of your right leg, and your left hand is using it for support. It can also be on a chair. Keep your hips square and rotate to the right. You can extend that upper arm and look up. This is really intense for me, so I actually prefer to keep my head facing forward. Slowly come back to center and use the hands on the hips to come up. Step forward, and we are back into Dasana. We're going to do everything on the other side. Inhale, bring the left knee up, flex the foot, and bring your arms high. Crane pose. Find a spot in front of you that doesn't move to focus on. This will help you balance. It's your drishti, your focus point. Take your hands to your hips and step your left leg back in preparation for pyramid pose. Check your feet, shoulders back and down. As you exhale, hinge forward from your hips. Long spine. Remember that micro bend in your front leg. And keep your shoulders back, chest open. Inhale, lift up strong legs. Exhale, bend your right knee. Prepare for warrior one. If your shoulders are ever fatigued, you have this option to keep your hands in front of your heart. Let's stay in warrior one for a few breaths. Keep grounding down through that back leg. Bring your hands to your hips, straighten the front leg, and pivot the toes forward. Make sure the feet are in line with each other and step them out wide. Remember, toes in, heels out. We're going for Prasarita padottanasana for a second time. Hinge forward from your hips, long back. And here's a variation of Prasarita, focusing on core strength here. Open the arms out like airplane wings. Pull the navel to the spine, strong legs. Take one more breath. Place your hands on your hips and lift yourself up. Turn the left toes out 90 degrees. Make sure your heel is in line with your back arch or back heel. And come into warrior two on the left. Body is facing forward. We're looking over the left fingertips. Relax the shoulders down away from your ears. Side angle pose. Take your left forearm to your left thigh and sweep your right arm up close to your ear. Pull your right shoulder back and look up if that's okay for your neck. Keep grounding down through your back foot. Hands to the hip, look down, lift your body up and straighten your front leg. Bring the arms out, we're coming into triangle pose. So if you're using a support, make sure it's there. Keep the micro bend in your left knee. Pull your right shoulder back and look up gently. Let's transition into revolved triangle. Take the top hand to your hip, look down, and adjust your back foot so your stance is a little bit wider and your back toes are about 20 degrees out. Support is on the inside of your left leg. Right hand down and rotate towards your left leg. Again, you can keep the hand on the hip here or extend it high. Look up or keep your chin in the direction of your chest. Hand to the hip, square your shoulders forward. Keep your legs strong and lift yourself back up to standing nice and slow. Step forward and we're back into Tadasana. Our next pose is Warrior III. You can use a chair in front of you for support or stay close to the wall to feel more comfortable. Bring your right foot back and slowly bring the toes up off the ground. Find your balance first. When you feel ready, keep your bottom leg strong and keep it micro bend, so we don't want to lock that bottom knee out. Pull the shoulders back, and as you lift your leg up behind you, slowly lower the upper body forward. And keep your hip down. So same thing as we did in the tabletop position when we were extending opposite arm and leg. We want those back toes to point straight down towards the mat. Now, wherever you are, try extending your arms forward. Find your balance and keep your head in line with the rest of your spine. Slowly come back to standing. Keep the transitions nice and slow. Let's go to the other side. Step your left leg back. Come up off your toes. Keep your shoulders back. Once you find your balance, find your Warrior III. Now, you might notice that one side feels different than the other. Personally, I feel a lot less comfortable on this side, so I'm going to stay a little bit higher here. You can keep the hands in front of your heart or extend your arms up overhead. Keep dropping that left hip low and slowly come back to standing. Back to Tadasana. Notice how you feel. Take your hands in front of your heart. Take a breath. As you exhale, bend your knees and fold forward into your Uttanasana, your forward fold. Cross your arms. Let your head be heavy. Come back through a tabletop position. Take the knees apart. Take the toes together. And come into your child's pose. Relax your forehead on the mat. Remember, you do have this option to keep the bolster in between your hips and your ankles. If your forehead doesn't touch the mat, feel free to place the forehead on the hands. You can stack the fists or stack the palms on top of each other. Also, if your ankles feel strained here, you can roll up a small towel and place it under the tops of your feet. Slowly lift yourself up. If you have a bolster, you can remove it. And come onto your seat. Bring your feet in front of you. Coming into Navasana or boat pose. So keep your knees bent and place your hands under your knees for support. Pull your shoulders back and see if you can find your balance. Take your feet off the ground. You can lift the feet slightly so the knees are at 90 degrees. And if you feel comfortable, extend your arms forward. Test your strength. Keep pulling the navel to the spine. You can also extend one leg at a time or extend both legs at a time and release both hands. So Find your version of boat pose today. Slowly release the feet down, reach forward, and we'll roll back all the way down. Get comfortable and bend your knees to your chest. Give yourself a hug. You can rock side to side or forward and back. You can take your knees in circles. Really depends what feels good for your lower back. When you're ready, bring your feet down and come into Shavasana, corpse pose. If your lower back isn't comfortable on hard surfaces, keep your knees bent with the feet apart. Drop your knees against each other for support. If you want to come into a classic Shavasana, extend the legs forward and let the feet fall out to the sides. Relax your toes and ankles. Relax your fingertips and palms. Let your arms and legs get heavy. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, let everything go. Relax your lips and cheeks, eyes and forehead. We'll stay here for about another minute or so. Just relax. Slowly come back to your breath. Wiggle the fingers and the toes, and bend your knees. Roll over to the right side, and stay in a fetal position for a couple of breaths. Then use your arms to push yourself up into a seated position. Whatever is comfortable for you is fine. Place the hands on the knees, roll the shoulders back and down, and give yourself a moment of gratitude for doing yoga today. You say, the light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you for joining me in yoga, everyone. See you next time.